Hello. So this video is about how to set up a Microsoft form. So some reason why you might want to set up a form is with assessment season coming up and data drops required, you might want to minimize some of your marking and use some multiple choice questions, or you might want to streamline how the students are actually submitting for these assessments. And Microsoft Forms is one way of doing that. So on my screen, I've logged in to Office 365 online. Okay, so if you type in Office 365 into Google Chrome and you click on Office 365 login, you will either be asked to log in with your school email account and your password, and then you'll come to this screen. And you'll see that there are the various packages that you have. Don't worry if you don't have the same ones as me. These are the ones that I frequently use. You might have different ones. What we're going to do is click on Forms. So we click on the Forms and that opens up. And what you should find, most of us will all have the copy of the pupil questionnaire, and you might have some other forms that you've used throughout the course of your time. What you're going to do is click on New Quiz. So by clicking on the new quiz, what that does is it allows you to put in incorrect and correct answers. So if we click on this box here and we put in test quiz, and we can enter a description. So you might want to put in assessment season summer 1, and you can press add new. You have various options here. Not all of them will self-mark. The multiple choice ones, they will self-mark, so they might do your AO1s that are on your spec. If you get up into the AO2s and AO3s, then you might want to have the students have the freedom to write any text that they want, and that would be a text box. Rating, you're not going to get any marking on, and date, you're not going to get any marking on. If you press the down arrow, you'll see more options here, but again, you won't really need them in a self-marking quiz. So if we set off that we want our first one to be a multiple choice, you click on choice and you simply type in your question. So question text would go in here, and your options would go in here. So answer 1, answer 2, and answer 3 if you want to add another option. At the side, you'll see that you've got 3 options here. You've got delete. You can display a message that if they select this one, and you've got the correct answer. So if you want to give instant feedback to a student, what you might decide to pick is to leave them a message to say that yes, this one is correct, and congratulations, you got that one right. You might decide that you want to leave a comment of encouragement to another child. Incorrect answer, but keep trying. Move on to the next question. Or you might decide that you just want to leave it blank. It's totally up to you. As you move on, you could choose if they want multiple answers. So if we had 2 possible answers, or if it's a compulsory question that they need to answer. Most of these you would take as being required if you want them to answer everything. But if you want it to be a standard test, which might result in some blank answers coming back, you would click this box and make sure that's off. You can have a drop-down menu, you can have subtitles, and you can have some maths. But again, keep it simple for now, and I personally would ignore those ones. Here, you can put in how many marks you want them to have. So most of the multiple choice would be a 1-mark answer. You press add new, and if we want to put in a text one, for example, we can then put in question 2 text here, and they will put their answer there. You can add in a correct answer, but you have to bear in mind that with the text answers, you cannot guarantee that a student is going to put in that answer in that exact format. So if you want, you could separate out your assessment and have all the short answer questions, and they will self-mark themselves. And then you can go back and have a look at the longer answer questions and provide feedback on them. Again, you can change the points here, and you can decide if you want to make it a required question or not. So as you work your way through, you'll keep adding all your questions, and then when you're done, it saves. So for my next question, I want to get them to pick a choice, but I want it to be a question that I got off the exam board. So I have my A-level past paper here, and it comes with the perfect multiple choice question that I can put into my assessment. And it also is one that can be marked by the computer. So by using Snipping Tool, I can take a screenshot of the question, of the table, saves me the hassle from having to write it all out again. File, save as, and I'll save it onto my desktop and I'll call it question 2. And press save. When I go back into Forms, I can then click on the picture, click Image, Upload, and find that picture, which is just here, and press Open. That picture then will be put into my quiz. Because I want to save time and be efficient again, I'll go back in and I'll copy and paste the text that Exam Pro had. And I'll paste it into the question here and just reword it. So select A, B, or C to indicate which of the descriptions in the table describes the set of real numbers. And then I'll type in my option A, B, or C. And then I will select the right answer. Okay, so this one is asking me about the set of real numbers. So the set of real numbers basically includes any positive or negative number, and it's all the integers. So basically most numbers. So you would select which one is correct, A, B, or C. You will then allocate the points to it, and we can see that it was worth 1 mark in that particular year. We can see that the answer is A, and we can also check, reject more than 1 lozenge. Obviously, it's multiple choice. But the check the marking scheme does come in handy for if on some occasions you do want to give specific feedback on an answer in a quiz. You can also look at things like the examiner's report. If it says the majority of students answered correctly, that's fine. But if there's a problem with a question and a person has selected the incorrect answer, you can address that difficulty at any point during the form so they can get their mark and their feedback quite quickly. So we'll select A as being the correct answer, and then we can highlight more than 1 lozenge should not be highlighted. So we can display that message. Make sure that only 1 box is selected at any time. You might decide to put it there, or you could put it up further here as part of your question. Again, exams board had that was worth 1 mark. So we can put 1 point here, and I don't want it to be required because otherwise a student might not be able to submit at the end. So now we're back into Teams, and what we want to do is bring that quiz into our team environment, into our classroom. So the easiest way to do it, and it minimises the amount of faffing around that you and students might need to do. At the top of your screen, you will see that you've got post, files, class notebook, assignments, grades, and so on. Beside that, you have this plus called Add a Tab. If you click on that, you'll see that there's so many more apps that you can use for Teams. We're going to concentrate on Forms for this purpose. So we click on Forms, and it will come up and ask you if you want to create a new one, or do you want to add an existing form. When you click on Add an existing form, your test quiz will be named there. Whatever you've named it, all of your files will be there. So you click on it. You want to make sure that you're collecting responses and you're not showing results, because the results could be shown to everyone and that just wouldn't be fair. So collect responses only. If you want, you can post onto your channel, onto your chat board, your general public chat board for your team, and that will post a link to it if there's anyone who has difficulty finding it, and you press save. What happens then is the form is already in your classroom, ready to go. Now, this has happened because I submitted the form already as a here's one I tried earlier. But what will happen is for you and for all of your students who haven't submitted it already, the form will come up just as a normal form to complete, and they will press submit at the end. If we go back to our general chat, you will see that there's a link. So added a new tab at the top of the channel. Here's a link, so you can tell them to click here. Generally, I would then include good morning, hope everyone is well. Please click on the link above and get started with and start the assessment. Best of luck. So then when they come into the class ready to start, they'll get started on that straight away. So students have completed the quiz in Microsoft Teams, and I want to test and see how they got on and see their responses. So I go back to Microsoft Forms and I open up my quiz again. So just to remind you how to do that, you go to Office 365, you click on the forms, your forms will come up, you click on the test, and you click on responses. I responded to that quiz, which is why it showed up on Teams that I'd already responded. And you can see the scores of your class there. You can review their answers, which comes in handy if you have selected long text answers for them to do. And you can pick on certain people, or you can pick on certain questions if you want to look at all the questions together. The value of this is that you can export it into Excel, which makes it easier to analyze and to see how everyone's done. And you can post the scores if you wanted, which then you can copy it over into Firefly manually. Hopefully this has helped you get started at the very least with a Microsoft form, self-answering, self-marking for multiple choice. If you're doing extended answers and you want more help in setting them up, please just reach out to us and one of us can help you. Hope this helps to some degree. So on the previous screen, you would see that where you go to look for responses in Microsoft Forms, you can see a button called Post Results. When you click on that button, Post Results, what it does is that it gives you a list of all the students that you can send the quiz back to. When you click all the boxes and then you click Post Results, that quiz comes back to that person in Microsoft Teams, onto their profile. What that then allows you to do is that if you look at the screen now that we have here in front of us, it's not saying that I've already submitted the quiz, it's giving me back my marked quiz. This then allows you to have that lesson time later on where you can reflect with the students on the questions where everyone went wrong, just as you would in a normal face-to-face class. And that tab can stay there for as long as you want it to stay there. If you want to remove it, you simply click on the arrow and click Remove. You can then copy over the scores into Firefly, into your gradebook and send to parents if that's what you normally do. As I said before, if you need any help with any of these, please reach out to us so we can help you and expand it more if you want to do extended text instead of just multiple choice. Just let us know.